guys are able to hit on so many things about our country. The Afghan surge has had problems. Economic recovery, as you said back then, what economic recovery? Terrorist threats would be on the increase. We've seen all these things and more, haven't we?
Yes, we have. And actually, the reason for our accuracy, I believe, is, well, I know why, is number one, we're political atheists. We look at the world for what it is and not the way we want it to be. So it takes out that I wish, I hope, I want. Hope, by the way, is one of the most negative words in the metaphysical dictionary. And people buy into it. And the other thing is that we make connections between different fields, so that when we look at an issue, whether it's the economy, whether it's terrorism, we make as many connections as possible. So if we're looking at economics, we look at geopolitical, we look at social, environmental, on and on down the line, always making connections, connecting the dots. And we don't have an agenda. We're not selling anything. Of course, we have the Trends Journal, which is our publication, but we're not pumping stocks or selling real estate or, convincing anybody to do anything other than preparing them for the future. So we look at it as you would go to a doctor and get a diagnosis.
Yeah. Tell me, what are some of the things you're looking at in particular this year? We've heard that we may have double-dip inflation. There are some that say there may be a crash. There are some that say don't be so pessimistic. What are your views, first of all, economically, what's going to happen?
Well, economically, Ben Bernanke, the Fed chairman, came out this week and said it's unusually uncertain. How could you come out with a stupid statement like that?
Well, that's not going to help the market.
Really. What individual, if you're talking to somebody who's like, it's unusually uncertain, only these white shoe boys get away with that kind of lingo. Well, that means that things are going to get really bad, and they know it. And they're conning people in this whole real estate thing with this $8,000 tax break. They con people into buying into a failing market by giving them a little bonus to do it, and it costs all the American taxpayers. This is not recovering. You look at the numbers, you look at the real estate numbers, you look at the unemployment numbers. The stimulus money is running out, and the economy is going to decline. By the time the clock hits 2011, we are saying the crash of 2010 will have happened. Everyone will recognize there was no recovery. It was a cover-up of digital money printed out of thin air, backed by nothing, and producing nothing.
And what does that lead to in Trends Research estimation?
Sorry, what was the question?
What's that going to lead to eventually, according to your research?
Well, you're going to see much higher unemployment. Crime, unfortunately, is going to increase. We're looking at some very, very serious future, and they're draining the Treasury. This is perfect empire decline, even to the point where when you look at the last empire that declined, the former Soviet Union, the superpower that was the U.S. competitor, we're even sipping from the same final Afghan straw. You don't spread your resources worldwide as you're declining internally. It's written in the history books, chapter and verse. So we're doing the same thing. Until we rebuild this country, bring back the manufacturing base. We have to make things. Whoever came up with this big lie that the United States can't compete in the world market are the people that are raping it, that have sent production overseas to slave labor totalitarian regimes like China, and then mark the product up and bring it back.
I
always get a kick out of how everybody, the government, they keep talking about that Fidel Castro, and those Castro brothers and those commie Cubans. How about the communist Chinese?
Yeah,
what's the difference?
Well, some things just kind of make practical sense, like when we sent jobs out in the mid-late 90s with GATT, NAFTA, and a number of other really bad, I thought, economic things for America. How did we not learn or didn't realize? How did our leaders not realize that you're taking away a huge portion of the middle class? I mean, it's
because the leaders are paid off, as we'd say in Italian. Capisci? They call it campaign financing? How about bribes and payoffs? Look at this reform bill, the no reform bill, the financial reform bill that Obama signed. Look at the amount of money that pumped in by Wall Street lobbyists to water it down to nothing. I mean, the whole thing is a payoff. People better grow up about this. The same people that are running the country and running your state in all the states are the same people we couldn't stand in high school and college that wanted to become the class presidents and the head of the student council. They're suck-up brown noses. They were the tattletales, the teachers' pets. They followed their career paths. They're nothing more than sociopaths. And I say that, look up the definition. They get caught in a lie. They never do anything wrong. They misspoke. I misremembered. What do you mean you misremembered? Who could get away with this stuff?
Yeah.
So the people they're taking us down the path of ruin because that's who they are. Dogs don't make cats.
What are you guys at the Trends Research Institute now saying is going to happen the remainder of 2010?
Well, you're going to see the Afghan war devolve into a disaster. They said at the beginning of the year, the word out of the White House was, as goes Kandahar, so goes Afghanistan. Kandahar's going nowhere. And this is, we want to put things into perspective. This is the United States military that, defeated the Germans at the Battle of the Bulge, planted the American flag through the heart of the Japanese at Iwo Jima, and we can't beat a bunch of guys with no shoes on? Come on. So the whole thing is a racket. It's military-industrial complex, the defense contractors. So we're going to keep draining the treasury. We're going to lose in Afghanistan. Things are going to worsen in Pakistan. More terrorist probability in 2010, unless this direction is changed. The people that are going to lead us, as I said, they can't win at anything. They can't fix BP. They can't fix the Katrina, education. The latest poll came out, confidence poll in institutions by Gallup. Only 11% of the people have confidence in Congress. And I said to myself, that high? I guess that's 11% that are working for Congress or getting paid off by them.
All right. Oh, you can find out more by going to their to the Trends Research website, and that is Mr. Celente.
Trendsresearch.com. That's trends with a plural. Trendsresearch.com.
See, we make it very difficult for folks, don't we? No, it's very easy. Trendsresearch.com. Gerald, always good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Tony.